Sometimes it might rain, sometimes it might snow. Sometimes you might cry, be sad, you know what that's shades of a man, baby. Shades of a man. Shades of a man. Sometimes you might stop, sometimes you might go. You might make mistakes, but that's just how you grow. Shades of a man, baby. Shades of a man. Shades of a man.
Welcome to the Shades of Man podcast, where we dive deep, exploring the vibrant spectrums of manhood and or womanhood, unveiling the many colors life paints upon us. So let's go. Today, well, before I start, I'm not going to forget my producer. To my right, I don't even know how y'all see it, but I have Liam over here. Say what's up, Liam.
How's it going?
And then I have brother Shalil over here to my left. I think it's the left. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Peace, family.
Okay, and before I give our wonderful guest an introduction, I'm going to ask him to introduce himself. I want you to introduce yourself. Like, if you were to go on the show, like, how would you present yourself to any audience, to any stage? No more than 30 seconds. Just give it to us.
I would say peace and divine abundance, everyone. My name is Shalil B. Canzater. I'm a youth consultant with over a decade worth of experience in inspiring, uplifting, and encouraging the youth. In a nutshell, that's what I do on a daily basis. Very short.
All right. So there you have it. And this man, he's here today because of a book. And before I get into this book, I have a poem that I wrote that kind of coincides, in my opinion, with diving into this book. Today's episode is basically born like in the skin I am in, or like how do we love the skin we're in? Because a lot of people don't really love what we were born into. Right? Yeah. We have to learn that through time. And a lot of that has to do with miseducation or not understanding your roots. So this is a poem I wrote probably over 20 years ago when I was really struggling with my identity. And I put together this poem. And it was inspired by a book I read called The Skin I'm In. And then I wrote this poem kind of inspired by this book where this girl was made fun of because she was dark skinned. So here is what I wrote. Born the skin I'm in. My tone, far from ebony. A throwback, red bone. Green eyes, not a clone. Completely separated from my home. On my continent, impossible. Sun blazing year round. Too tropical. Master raping, unstoppable. So I'm bronze. Without the topical. So I serve in the house, not the field, 'cause my mom had that sex appeal. Mary was my father, well, my owner. But for my mother's affection, he didn't yield. So maybe I learned to read and write. Generations later, my skin still can't heal. This Negro, whose hero was changed and rearranged to deceive slaves and blacks like Greek myths. His story is not the real story, just oppression, Great Depression, white Jesus, slave master's obsession. Melting in the pot, so hot, mixing can't stop. Negro, nigger, black, colored. When is this ignorance gonna stop? I'm a black man, roots embedded, African, born an American. So what am I? A North American, living on stolen land, and the world isn't flat. Try taking me back to when my skin was black.
Beautiful poem, bro.
Yeah. Thank you. So, right off the rip, I'm gonna go. This book right here, you can see it right here. First of all, I want you to introduce purposely miseducated. Like, where did that come from?
Well, it just came from years of being programmed and then years of reprogramming myself to understand the type of situation I was up against when going to school on a day-to-day basis. It's not the teacher's fault, right? The teachers do not create the curriculum. The curriculum comes from the state that you're in, and you must have the students immersed in that particular, topic or lesson plan. So it's not their fault to say, but it just come from me knowing how I was purposely miseducated through a system that was never truly designed for me. And when you look outside of school and you just look at the work world, you look at systematic inequality within our communities nationwide, within other places all over the world, the problem is really all the same. It starts with an education.
That's profound. And as an educator, 25 years plus, I couldn't agree with you more. And as I was reading this book, like, I mean, not because I want people to buy the book and read it, right? Because they got to read this book. And as I was diving into the book, I felt like I was going on a journey with you,
Yeah.
because it was like you were talking about being at work, and I got to take a little break, like, and it was like the book, like I was in the book, and
Yeah.
and I was trying to learn you, so I was taking notes, and that's not really how I operate, but I had to because I wanted to actually give you a proper interview so people can dive in to what it means. So
Thank you. Appreciate that.
when how did you feel when you accomplished the book? Like when you finished the book, like how did you feel about your work?
Well, the crazy part, right? I still haven't read the book. Right? I
Mm.
wrote it, but I haven't sat down and read it. But I'm not gonna lie. When the book was done and the actual day of the book signing came, man, it gave me butterflies and chills. It was a lot of mixed emotions because I didn't know if people was gonna come out and support. I didn't know if people was gonna like the book. So your first book, I feel like, is always the hardest one because sometimes you give too much thought into it. And writing a book is extremely simple. However, when it came out and the responses I got from individuals led me to believe and know that, you know what, it's really a good product, man. It's really a good product. So when it came out initially, I had a lot of mixed emotions. I was in a different space in life. Also, I was coming out of my, I would say, womanizing phase where I was tired of, running around with multiple women. I was tired of lying, being deceitful, because that was a part of me too. It was going to come out in my second book I'm writing. But I was going through something with women at the moment my book was coming out. I was going literally, I would say, through mental hell with women. So I'm at my book signing, but I'm not present. I'm just there. So I'm signing books, I'm shaking hands, I'm kissing babies, and this is beautiful. It's like I was a politician pretending to care. But when it was the day the time I'm riding from my house to the book signing location, I'm just man, I was so befuddled because I couldn't I couldn't hold it together. Internally, I'm crying, going through this with these women, and I get here and it's a bunch of people was there, a bunch of people. So I actually was there, but I really wasn't present.
Wow, that's profound. And I guess so the audience understands. I started following Shalil on social media, and I just like his content. And I guess recently, the last few months, he started writing a lot of stuff about like respecting women, and it really hit me because like I'm in that phase where you probably were a few months ago. I don't know how long you were, but I'm coming out of that phase and really trying to, like, I'm 52, and like my whole life I was taught to like be honest here, but don't be honest there, right?
Mhm.
So like, and trying to be like I really believe that to be a good father, you got to be a good husband. Like I
Yeah,
truly believe that. And so some of the things that you were saying were like hitting me deeper than the book and had when I read it. And just the things like you were saying like on social media about lust and like women, and I'm like, oh man, this dude's just punching me right now. Because it's so profound. So that's just another respect thing about like the journey of men. Like some people don't know our journey; they just see where we are, and they don't know like some of our internal struggles. Like I'm struggling with lust. I would say is an addiction that is gonna carry on for the rest of my life.
Yes.
But I got some questions for you that are gonna hit you. I think. Ready? I'm gonna mention some names to you. Ready?
Okay.
And I just want you to tell me what these names mean in a few words. Bill
Okay.
Ward.
Bill Wood, mentor, first
Um,
older guy, man. Bill Ward was sharp. Just to touch on Bill Ward because he's not with us anymore. Man, Bill Ward, he had this program. The program was called Brother to Brother. So every Thursday, he would we would go to the program. We would learn about our history. Then he will allow us to play whatever activity we wanted to play. So some people play board games. He had the gym with Sissy Tyson. School was across the street from the church. We go play basketball. Every Christmas we got gifts because I grew up in a very unfortunate part of town. But Bill Ward, he was the first man outside of, I would say, some of my coaches that actually showed me he cared. Now, Bill Ward cared for the community. So Bill Ward, man, oh man, Bill Ward saved a lot of lives. A lot of people that is here still in my city today is because of Bill Ward and that brother to brother program.
brother to brother program. Does the program still exist?
I'm not sure. We trying to restart it. Me and a couple guys that are now, some of my friends like Eric Palmer, Alma J. Hutchinson, all these guys, they are firemen, state troopers. So they trying to restart the program, but as of now, I don't think it exists.
That's a shame. How sometimes legacies from individuals don't carry on as they should, based on somebody like I look at Martin Luther King, right, and Malcolm X, right. I look at those like when they died, so did their movement, and it's unfortunate that a legacy should carry on when somebody like Ford hasn't stopped. You know what I mean? It's still going. Chrysler hasn't stopped.
That's that part of
Wendy's
not.
hasn't stopped.
That's,
Educated properly, right?
they're not miseducated. They know how to
Right.
keep it.
So
They set it up.
this a gentleman, I was at a men's health conference this weekend, and a gentleman said to me that he is mad at Martin Luther King and Malcolm X because they didn't leave a blueprint. And it like hit me because I never thought of it in that way. Like he said, they didn't leave a blueprint, so we don't know what to follow.
Yeah.
Because there was no blueprint. And I'm like, wow, like I never like when sometimes people say something and it just takes you like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
I can
Repeat that?
I can agree with that to an extent.
Right.
Because I believe that they left a blueprint on paper, right? But if
Right.
we live in the greatest era ever, I believe the technology era, it's just models of their steps. So if you watch Malcolm, right, what the first thing that Malcolm do to assure that he can be a great leader, he embraced a religion, right? So once you embrace a religion, you instantly have something that you fear over anybody else, and that's the Almighty. Whoever your God is, that's who you fear. Then he got a mentor, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He got a mentor. So he got religion, he got a mentor, and then Malcolm became disciplined in his studies. So until we as men get that component of life, you have to have something you believe in. If you do not have nothing you believe in, you are literally the walking dead. Because when you don't have nothing you believe in, you live undisciplined. And men need order and structure. We need it. We cannot function without order and structure. If we don't have the order or the structure, we don't have nobody we believe in, there's no discipline. When there's no discipline, you don't see no goals. You don't see your goals out completely. Right? So I do believe the brother was right. Because the blueprint wasn't left, I would say, on paper, and it's just to my understanding, my knowledge there. But if we go and model what Malcolm was, it's easy. Now, to get to a level of Malcolm, you have to be supreme discipline when you're trying to get to a level of Malcolm. Everybody who ever mentions Malcolm just said Malcolm was so disciplined. Like Malcolm never backslided as far as smoking or drinking, right? He didn't cheat on his wife. Like Malcolm was just so disciplined. And to be disciplined, you have to continuously keep your faith and your hope at an all-time high. Because in this world, that's all we really have, faith and hope.
That's profound. So I got another name for you, Tamir Green.
Tamir Green, Mayor Tamir Green is the mayor of East Orange, New Jersey right now. First person that gave me a job. Yeah, when I was younger, Tamir Green, we all lived in a building. It was on 133 Rhode Island Avenue in East Orange, New Jersey. And Tamir was my neighbor. So Tamir used to cut my hair. He used to take me to school. And he gave me my first job. The job was cleaning up around our building. So Tamir at the time, he was a councilman. He was running for councilman. He said, listen, I need you to, I see you always come outside and clean up. Your time is worth something. I'm going to pay you to do it in all 3 buildings. So he would do that for me. And that's the first man that taught me the importance of taking care of where you live at.
Mm. Whew. We could talk about that later. Mr. Adrian.
That's oh man. Good brother. Good brother. So I can say good brother. Wild brother, but good brother. Good brother.
Okay, and we already touched on this man, Malcolm Little.
Oh man, Malcolm was such a paragon in my eyes because of what he had to overcome to be the man he was initially, right? So if Malcolm would have died in his 20s, he would have died a pimp, he would have died a thief, he would have died a drug dealer, he would have died a manipulator, a liar. But what Malcolm showed me was, the reason I say he's a paragon is because what Malcolm showed me is that regardless of anything, you can overcome if you want to. I truly believe this. People, we know what we want to do, but the power that it takes to do it, we don't want what comes with it, because what comes with power is responsibility. And it's easier to be like, yo, I'm just learning, all I know is the streets. All I know is multiple women. It's easy to say that because that responsibility is saying, you know what? I'm not going to cheat. I'm not lying. I'm not stealing. I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking. That comes with responsibility. And the responsibility is, regardless of what, you have to be disciplined enough to not cross back over. And that's a hell of a responsibility, because that weighs on you sometimes. Because sometimes that drink or that backsliding with that woman, it validates what's empty inside of us. So this thing is really big on the soul search. So for sure, Malcolm is a paragon of the community still.
That is extremely profound. So I'm going to touch on your spiritual essence. I'm a Christian. I was born into Christianity at different levels. But I recently, in March, I fasted for Ramadan
Praise.
with some of my Muslim brothers, and because I believe we're all God's children, no matter how you look at the spirit. I believe that we need a higher power, like you said, to fear other than like the things in life.
Yeah.
And the fast for Ramadan was something I thought I couldn't do. Now, mind you, I got the easiest time. It was the shortest Ramadan probably in a long time because of the daylight hours, right? But it was still a challenge because, I had to sacrifice like things that I was accustomed to. I drink a gallon of water a day, and not to drink from, sun up to sun. It was very challenging, but I had to lean into like who I really was to do it.
Yeah.
It takes supreme discipline. It takes because me personally, I wouldn't feel good about saying I completed Ramadan, but I had a sip of water at noon the third day. No, I
Yeah.
completed 100%. I didn't sip nothing before, when I wasn't supposed to. And it was eye opening. And I believe you 100% about the religion and how religion really can help change someone. I knew my grandfather was the greatest man I knew, and some people get mad when I say this. He was greater than Martin Luther King to me. He was greater than Malcolm X to me because that I knew him personally. It wasn't like I read about him from somebody else's perspective, but I only knew my grandfather from 60 on. I don't know 60 minus. He could have been a whole different man, but what I got the best of him, and so that's what I see. But somebody else might not see for him the way I did because it's about those times.
Yeah.
So that's deep. That's deep. All right. So what should true education look like for young men of color in America?
Good. That's an excellent question, my brother. Beautiful question, brother. Education should look like, first of all, knowing who you are and where you come from, right? Because if you don't know where you are, who you are, and where you come from, you don't know where you're going. You're just part of the system, right? It should look like your education should be something that will always put you in a position to take care of your loved ones. If your education does not bless you with that type of understanding and know-how, then you don't have an education. You have a bunch of documented lessons you learned, but they can't do anything for you. So if I was teaching, let's say a group of individuals, right, preferably males, I would tell them that, listen, we first got to understand where we come from and who we are. Then we must understand economics. We have to understand how money works, where to put the money, how to quadruple the money, and how to recirculate the money within your community. Then I would teach, after we understand that, we have to learn political science, right? We have to learn political science, sociology. These are things we need in order to understand what's going on around us. If we don't understand those 5 basic things, we are in trouble. Because if you look at us now, we don't own anything in most communities. We have no political power in most communities. We're the 7th richest nation in the world, and we have less than what we had. I have the way my phone is programmed at 9:00, all my apps shut off.
The do not disturb. I got you. All right, so
that's how I control my strolling tactics.
Okay.
Yes, I need that for real.
Yeah,
all right, so that question.
So you were saying that you're talking about political and social economic, like how you teach young men and all that stuff, and you kind of left it there. Do you mind starting from there?
Yeah.
Again?
Thank you, brothers. And again, we have to understand first of all, sociology. We have to understand that, right? We have to understand why people do what they do. Political science, right? Social science. We have to understand why people operate the way they do, right? And it's really based off the power of habit. So when I was at the Brooklyn Hope School in Brooklyn, I was coming in and I was teaching the young guys the power of habit. So the basal ganglia, the part of the brain that's responsible for habit is based off a reward system, right? So people don't necessarily smoke because they like cigarettes. They smoke because they like the effect of the dopamine released from nicotine. So this actual cigarette is not their addiction. But they don't know that they're not addicted to cigarettes. They're addicted to the release of the dopamine, which is in the nicotine. Right? So if they can, this is why geniuses, I would say in the pharmaceutical world, have made nicotine patches and gum you can chew. But the damage is still being done because they understand that people are addicted to the nicotine, not so much the cigarette. It's what's inside the cigarette. But I would teach a lot of them young guys what education would look like to me is you're put in a position to take care of your family for the rest of your life. Because as a man, you can't provide for your family, you will become a detriment to them or yourself. Because when you miseducate a child, you create a criminal.
Would you say that experience is, because I know some people have been saying to me recently that like people need to experience something bad to actually learn from it. Do you think that most people have to go through a hard time to actually learn good things, or do you need to, or you could just teach them good things without having the hard time? If you understand the question or not.
Well, once again, my brother, very good question. I believe you don't really have to go through hard things to learn good lessons, right? Because if you pay attention, the lessons is right in front of you. For example, I work at a shelter, right? I volunteer at a shelter sometimes, and there's people in there who watch other people all day long, and they watch what not to do, right? But you have to be in those spaces. Now, if you're not in those spaces, it's different. But if I sit back and I look out my window and I see men 3 times my age, if I leave for work and they there, and I come back and they there, something would my head, man, I don't want to be like that. Now, I don't know their situation. I'm not trying to judge them brothers, but every day I leave for work, I'm going to be productive. You're here. When I come back, you're in the same spot with the beer in your hand, the black and mild, and the weed. So something would tell me I don't want to be like that. So sometimes I can literally sit back and observe the room and learn, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Now, the brother that's thriving, you have to be in a different environment to see that. This is why environments are so detrimental. Because if I'm in an environment where all I see is people sitting on the corner, eventually, no matter how strong I am, I'm going to just want to go see what's so dope about the corner. Before, when I would say my grandfather was coming up, he used to tell me that the doctor and the principal lived on the same block as the girl. So when a child came outside, they seen 3 different things they can be. You just had to pick which one you wanted to be, but you had options. If we will engineer that process and get out of the mentality that we are in now, A lot of these children do not have to go through these severe circumstances and things they're going through. But when they come outside, it's only one example. And that's the dude on the corner, the dude with the money from drugs, or the dude with the money from scamming. That's all they see. Environment is more important than inheritance. Because your environment actually shapes who you are. I can give a child $1 million. If I don't teach him how to maintain it, he'll be broke in a year. Your environment is everything. In our environments, we only see a certain amount of things that we can become. Next time you guys get out, I want you to just ask some of your friends who are cops, firemen, EMTs, which are all great professions. Sit them down and say, man, let me ask you a serious question. Is that what you really wanted to do when you were younger? Because when we were younger, if you think about it, we all had dreams. What happened to our dreams? Who killed our dreams? Poverty. Poverty kills dreams. Because in poverty, I may want to be a lawyer, but ain't nobody on my block a lawyer. I talk to these people 24/7. Ain't nobody on my block an engineer. Ain't nobody on my block in pharmaceuticals. So all I think happens is what's good that's left. Because we just pick it from what's good. That's why it's really deep. But if you think about it, our professions choose us. We no longer choose the professions. Because if I'm a good person, like all of us are on this live, we're good people. What's left coming from the hood? Fireman, cop, EMT, postal worker. Look at the average people in our lives in certain environments. What are they? Firemen, cops, EMTs, postal workers, work for the city. But it's not a lot of engineers, not a lot of pharmacists. You know, it's not a lot of longshoremen. And these jobs make well over $100,000 a year. But we started to allow our environment to choose for us, but we believe we're choosing because we're just doing what's good internally. But it's not what we wanted.
Thank you. That was deep, and you left out teacher though.
But yeah, teachers for
I'm a
sure.
teacher, and yeah, teachers definitely for sure. And I'm an anomaly. I represent like 1.3% of like the teaching population as a black male
For
in
sure.
Connecticut. Like that's horrendous when you really look at it. 1.5%. It was 3% when I started 25 years ago. And it has decreased over the last 2 decades, which is compounding a problem that we're already having.
For sure.
So without diving in, I'm just gonna say some of the names of the chapters because the names are very interesting and they hit me. Parents just don't understand. Like I started thinking Will Smith song. So
Yeah.
like
It was
go into depth of that.
Yeah, because okay, so what I've noticed my entire life when I had the time to sit back and be in complete solitude is that a lot of our lives are already planned out for us. Right? So think about it. When a child is born, what do the mother and the father say? Okay, my son, he's going to go to Syracuse. He's going to be a basketball player. Oh, man, he's going to get all the girls, man. He's going to play chess. Man, his life is already constructed. But that's not your decision. Granted, I do understand that parents, they work frivolously. They don't want us to endure the same, hardships they had coming up. So a lot of times when they think they're setting us up, they actually projecting their fears on us. So and parents don't understand that. Because what if I don't want to play sports? What if I want to be a nurse as a male? Oh, come on, son, ain't no a nurse. I don't think that's the right thing for you to do, man. You talented. What if my passion is being a nurse? It's completely shut down because now what you're going to push me towards or what in my heart I'm going to feel as though will make you happy. Remember, when we were younger, we unapologetic because we don't really know. So like, you know what? I'm going to do what my father want me to do, what my mother wants me to do. It don't matter. I have a lot of Caribbean friends. You know what they tell me? Man, in my household, we can't, it's no such thing as we're not going to college. There's no such thing as we're not going into the medical field. No such thing as we're not doing these things. And a lot of them hate their jobs. They say, man, I love the money, but I hate the job. It does nothing. I make good money, I take care of my family, but it does nothing. But from birth, his father was a doctor. He sent him to medical school. So your life is already constructed for you. And I know the parents are not doing this thing to hurt you. but it does hurt us. My little brother, he was 18 years old. His father, which is not my dad, but he's a great man, he said, when you turn 18, you're going immediately to construction school. My little brother's in jail right now. His whole life, he felt like everybody's wanted him to do what they wanted him to do. When he younger, nah, you're not going to that school with your friends. You're going to private school. Graduated with his associate's degree from high school, went right in the streets. Did what he wanted to do for once in his life. See what I'm saying? Sometimes parents just don't understand. It's to say that they're bad people or they don't do their job. Because parents, especially, single parents, sometimes they do a hell of a job. But my life is not your life. We don't understand that. Life, my life. Now, I would want my parents to assist in it. Give me the game. Show me some ropes. Lead me, but don't force me. Just lead me. Give me an option. My grandmother had this saying. She said, "I can't force prayer on you. Eventually, you'll get it. But I will not force it on you. You'll get it. You'll find something that speaks to your soul." And it's hard, man. But parents don't understand that my life is not your.
All right. Another chapter that hit me. Not my, you know which one. I already talked about the one that really hit me. Finding a mentor and the importance of that, and that's why we talked about some of those guys in the beginning, like how important to young people is finding a mentor other than our parents, older brothers, and uncles.
Well, it's extremely important, my brother. We need it. Sometimes when I was young, I was very stubborn because I come from a place where if you wasn't considered self-made, you wasn't a man, and that was the worst way of thinking I could have ever, even if it was for a couple of years, I could have kept that mentality. That was the worst thing for my development and growth. A mentor literally can lift you out of your situation onto stardom. Some people, they are a mentor away from being a millionaire. They are a mentor away from being in Oprah's book club. They are a mentor away from landing a job on Wall Street. They're a mentor away of becoming, things that they can't. Because a lot of times, I'm not going to lie, we just don't have the intellectual property to get past a certain level. If I had a coach and he one day told me, he said, "I done took you as far as I can take you. I have to release you onto somebody who knows more, who's been where you're trying to go, and who have your absolute best interests at heart." And that's what a mentor is. A mentor is someone outside of your parents, like I said, which is genius, because they're not going to be biased towards you, right? And a mentor can be a female or a male, but it has to be somebody who sees you, see where you want to go, and say, "You know what? I know exactly what to do. But this is what you do. For me to help you, this is what it's going to take." And mentors are important. I just truly don't believe that we can make it without mentors, right? Don't get me wrong. We have the component of, that spiritual mentor, which is, the Almighty. We got that. But I need someone here that's going to tell me, "Hey, Shalom, man, that's a bad decision you're about to make. I'm going to support you either way, but I'm telling you it's bad." What if we had mentors and I didn't have to, mess up my credit, right? I didn't have to pay back 3 loans. I went in debt 3 times in my life from thinking I know what I'm doing, taking this money from these people. I thought I knew what I was doing. You needed a mentor. I needed that person. Like, yo, sit down, relax. Especially as a man, we coming from broken homes a lot. And it doesn't matter your race, because everybody in some type of aspect come from a broken home. Some people, fathers, have great jobs. He's never home. That's a broken home. Because if somebody's bullying me and I come home, telling your mother is cool, but you want to talk to your father. You want to tell the masculine energy in that house. So you and your dad can handle that, But man, the power of a mentor, that chapter means a lot to me, because if a lot of things that happened in my life personally wouldn't happen if I had a mentor or a father figure that was consistent, or a father figure that didn't put his hands on my mother. Because once we lose respect for a man, it makes us angry within ourselves for even trusting the man that can betray us, because the betrayal is unjust. So finding a mentor, someone who really, really cares and want to see you win, male or female, that's what a lot of us is missing. I never would have did the things I've done to women. I never hit women. I never verbally abused women, but emotionally, intellectually, I was manipulatively, yes. But what if people would have told me, yo, bro, you need to stop that. Because coming from a certain place, all they tell us is, yo, you need to go get as many girls you can get. Hey, man, you young, live, settle down when you ready. And that was cool. But I wish you would have told me how many people I was going to hurt along the way. I wish you would have said, yo, don't be like me, man. Go get married, man. You're a handsome young guy, man. Go settle down with somebody. You'll figure it out. But to tell me, hey, man, listen, she tripping. She don't want to do it. Another girl will do it to you. Leave her alone, bro. I really liked that girl when that happened to me personally. But that negative mentor destroyed me, man. And it's hard. So that positive mentors, really good. They're crucial to our growth and development as men.
That's great stuff there. And I'm gonna say this to you. I personally like you the way you are right now. And I know factually you would not be the man that you were if anything in your life was any different than it was.
Yeah.
And not to say that we don't want change for the people ahead of us, but I don't want to give up or change anything that happened to me in my past, and I don't want you to either, because we don't know if that's gonna even bring us to this point in this world.
Yeah,
Right? Because
for
every
sure.
decision affects the next decision, and then next thing you know, poof, we're not even here. But so Liam has a whole different outlook, because our first show we talked about love, and
Yeah.
Liam is like just like the way he is. I'm 52. The way he is, I wish, right, that I was that way at a very early age. Like Liam's like a one woman, like I love you. Like if I'm dating you, I'm serious with you, and it's all about you. And that is a power. Like if men knew how powerful that was, um, and talking to a lot of brothers, because the next one is love, lust, and stupidity. Right, that's another chapter you wrote, love, lust, and stupidity. I have a poem in Shades of a Man poem, all these poems that I wrote. I have a section called lust, lies, and sex. So a lot
Mm,
similar to that, where that's all I
yeah.
was doing was creating issues. And the mentor, like I have mentors now, and my relationship mentors are my friends that I believe have been 100% faithful to their wives.
Yeah.
And when I have a relationship problem, I go to them. I don't go to my single friends no more, my friends out there, because the difference is when I go to them, they put it on me. When I go to my singles friend, oh, let's go to the strip club. Oh, let's go to the club. Let's go here. Let's go on a man's trip. Like that doesn't fix what I'm trying to fix, right? And so that's very key of having a mentor in that way. So love, lust, and stupidity. Like,
Man,
how
that,
important is that to develop as a man?
we have to conquer lust, right? Lust, if you read the story of King Solomon, right? Now I do pray for the wisdom that King Solomon had and discernment he had, right? Because that's what he asked God for, that discernment and that wisdom. But what destroyed King Solomon? Lust. 700 wives, 300 concubines. He loved the women so much and lusted for women so much, he started praising their gods because he loved them that much. That was his real beef with God. Solomon, you started to idolize other people over me? God's a jealous God. You following her God? What is wrong? The lust. Men have to conquer lust. And I want to compliment the young brother, man, because I think that is an amazing thing that you have one girlfriend, because it speaks back to what I said earlier. It is easy. When I was dealing with multiple women, it was some of the easiest stuff to do. Because if, let's say, Stephanie don't like me today, cool, Steph, you have an attitude, I'm just going to lay out with Keisha. Because Keisha's nice right now. She's not on her menstrual. I'm going to go lay out with Keisha. But when you have one woman, you have to sit there and say, okay, baby, you got to figure this out, because I'm not about to go to bed mad at you. What's the problem? What can I do to alleviate any distress I've caused you to? That takes courage to sit down with one woman and say, because what happens is we have to face that. And a lot of men, when we grow up, especially in single households, we grow up to where our mothers make it cool for us to run from our problems. So when it comes, we don't know how to face what we've done. So we just go to the next one, the next one, the next one, till we get tired of hurting people. By then, you done left a slaughterhouse full of people you done hurt emotionally. So I compliment the young brother for that, man. It's one woman. One journey, y'all on it together. Don't let nobody break that, man. Keep God first. That's a beautiful thing. But we got to conquer the lust. As men, the lust, and it's so easy now because everybody's naked. You go on social media. When I was coming up, I'm pretty sure like you was too, big bro. You coming up, you had to work hard for a nude picture. Now I want to see you nude. I just go to your Instagram. I go to your TikTok. I just go find you on social media. Okay, there she is right there. Oh my gosh, she's girl's beautiful. Lust kills us because when we're driven by lust, we miss the beauty in which we are dealing with, and that is the essence of a woman. Because we can't see past her voluptuous shape. We can't see past that. We can't see her in the hurts. We can't see she's been molested. We can't see that this not even that girl's true identity. She's doing this because this is the only way she feels loved. We can't even see that because we're so driven by the way she looks. And lust conquers the mind. When lust conquers the mind of a man, he occupies his time with pleasure. And that brings him to a state of depression because when you occupy your time with pleasure, there's no way you can focus on your goals. If you can't focus on your goals, 10, 20 years down the line, you're going to find yourself in a spot where you feel worthless. And that's where the drugs come in. That's where the drinking, the abusiveness come in because you really manage yourself. So lust, man, lust is hard to conquer, but it has to be conquered. And to be honest, from my perspective, in my experience, I didn't conquer lust until I got with God. Until I started fearing God, I can honestly say I know what it means to be God fearing now. Because a lot of stuff, it's not like I don't have the urge to do anymore. I just know in my heart that if nobody sees me, God will. I believe that. I went to Colombia with my brothers. You know what they told me? Like, yo, you really changed. Brother, I'm not coming out here to pay for sex. What's wrong with y'all? That's not my thing. I have a woman at home. That's not my thing, bro. Now, can I have got away with it? Absolutely. Right? But when I get back here, I gotta see her, I gotta look at her eyes, I gotta kiss her with the same lips I kissed on that girl with. God knows some people go down on prostitutes. You're at the same lips that I told you this is all yours, and you told me that's all mine, and we made an honest commitment with each other. I gotta come back here and be deceitful. Me doing that, I'm just digging up my old ways. I don't want to live like that. So, the lust is hard and it's an everyday journey. Because the things you see out here is amazing. That God did make some beautiful women. But you got to conquer that. The stupidity. The stupidity comes in is where we think we actually love someone when we lust for them. That's stupidity. We actually believe, I'm with her every night. But why are you with her every night? Right? Do you even know this woman for real? You love what she do for you, not who she is. And that's the problem. A lot of us, when these women start doing these tricks, we love that. Why do you think it's so easy for us to detach outside of the childhood trauma? Is that because I don't really like you like that? You want a woman get into an argument, you can leave. Okay, I'm a man. I don't need you. What if that was meant to be your wife? Can't see past it because of the lust. And love, love is the strongest drug known to man. Once we start to love ourselves, that in which we can love our brothers, which is our others, and we can love the women we deal with. Because at the end of the day, when you love yourself, you show yourself enough love, you will start to attract a certain type of energy that will bond a cohesive unit between you and the woman that you choose to deal with. The Honorable Minister Nuri Muhammad teaches us that he says, outside of finding a God to believe in, the hardest choice you'll ever make is finding a woman to spend the rest of your life with. And until you love yourself, you can't love nobody else properly. So it starts with us. Until I learned to love myself, I couldn't love no woman properly. I would do nice things for them, take them out, help them pay their bills. But at the drop of a dime, I can detach because I didn't love myself. I loved what I represented to the people first, but I didn't love myself. Now I can honestly say I'm first. And that love, lust, stupidity chapter, that's what I was hoping and praying that a lot of brothers and sisters got from that chapter, because the love part is deep. You have to love yourself first. And too often, a lot of men focus on the wrong thing. We focus on wanting to get the money first, because in certain environments, we're taught without money, we're nothing. So, we have to focus on the love, the inner people skills first. That's how we're going to get it. Yeah.
That was powerful. And to all the listeners, I'm in the Shalil is way ahead of me. I'm in the beginning stages of of conquering lust. And Liam, I don't believe, has had that issue. And it's be Liam. And if you can't be Liam, you're gonna be in my stage where you're trying to. But there's hope because you can end up like Shalil, where you get over that hump of actually being one way and changing, because change is gonna happen regardless in your life, but you're in control of changing a negative to a positive, and you could turn a positive into a negative as well. So it goes both ways. So now I got some rapid fire questions. I got some questions I want quick answers to.
Okay.
All right, and this is about some of these questions about related to the book, in some ways. So, what is a lie you were taught that you now kind of laugh at and chuckle at that because you believed it?
Money don't grow on trees.
Whoo!
I mean,
Explain that.
It absolutely does. It's
Man.
paper. It does. People say, "Yo, money don't grow on trees." Money is paper. They print it every single day. It absolutely does. Right, but I do understand what they were saying, but it absolutely that was a lie, and I think it was something that was said in the household so much that it helped us create a bad relationship with money. So that was a lie.
Do you believe? I have this theory that we are taught so many lies that we believe them from the time from Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and all these things. And it almost goes along with your book, like purposely miseducated. Like I think like there's so many lies out there. Like, oh, it's not really a lie. But it's a lie. You know.
Lie, man. I'm telling you something right now. We've been lied to so much that we think that we can't tell the truth. Right? We've been lied to some fairies, Santa Claus, certain holidays. You know, we sitting around and celebrating holidays where people was burned and ate off the grill. Like, it is crazy. You know, so yeah, the lies is our deception.
If you had 60 seconds to educate the world, what would you say?
60 seconds to educate the world. That's a good question. 60 seconds to educate the world. I would say that if you truly want to be successful, fall in love with the things you hate and fall in love with the one person that you talk to but you cannot see. And that's God. Because the only reason you cannot see him is because you can't see him in yourself. Because God is in you, God is of you. But until you're able to see him within yourself, you'll never be able to see him. So fall in love with God and fall into the person that you talk to but can't see. And that's God. You'll live a life of abundance.
And because I didn't dig into, I want to dig into one quote in this book. Okay. Just because I already used it too, because, I love using people's information, right?
Yeah.
Racism is an excuse for capitalism.
Well, it is. That's the whole thing about understanding economics. When you separate people, you can systematically deny them until they have the understanding of the know-how to go and get the capital. But it's just an excuse for capitalism, right? They capitalize off all of your hard work because they make you believe that it's not valued, right? So we all know Ford wasn't really the Ford guy now, but the slave who created the blueprint, he didn't know how to patent that. He just created it and it was taken from him, right? So if I can enslave you, right, there's no way that you'll ever even feel worthy enough to believe that you're even smart. So I'm going to benefit from your hard work, from your sweat equity. And I'm just going to say, listen, man, you don't deserve it. You're basically a slave. You got to think everyone was free unless you were a slave. So when slavery was abolished, right, they said, listen, how can we still keep these people under our foot or our thumb? They said, okay, let's make petty crimes now. Because you were free then unless you was a criminal. So we need to incriminate people so we can have slaves, because slaves produce what? Free labor. And now, 100 years later, right? It's still free labor. Still free labor. In Louisiana, you can work every single day in the jail, and when you get paid, you don't have enough money to buy you a honey bun. They just get free labor out of it. It's free labor. It's capitalism. But I must say this. I must say this. We have to want to learn, because it's not everybody. But we kind of have to want to get out of a certain situation in order to thrive for the sake of our legacy as people, right? Everywhere you go in this world, you have a little Haiti, you have a little Havana, you have a little Italy. You go to New York, you have a little Chinatown. There's no little black anywhere, right? You see what the Jews did, how they come and they have structure. You see how Hispanic brothers and sisters do. They come over, they live together, they have unity, they build. Next thing you know, they own it most of it. We sit back and we just point the fingers. But every time we point one finger, it's three pointing back at you. So we have to take accountability for some of this distress too.
And that is changing. Established in 2022, there is the African American Society in New Haven, Connecticut.
That's beautiful.
I'm gonna send you the link to it. I'm a member. I was one of the first 50 members. I'm gonna send you the link. They're doing big things and really specializing in agriculture, which is important from our people. Agriculture to have a resilient society. And I'm gonna send you that link as soon as we get off of there. Last one. This right here is so powerful. Another quote from your book. It says, "Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years."
Because so when I wrote that, I was in the mentality of actually coming out of that, right? So things take time, and what we want is we come from that microwave era. We want it now. We want it quick. That's why it's so easy for people to sell drugs. We are blaming it on our survival, trying to help our family. But the reality of it is the money's quick. So if the money's quick, I can, in a year, we can make 100 grand. Well, you can make 100 grand in a year being an engineer too. You can make but that takes time. That takes them 10 years. I mean, them 5 to 10 years of putting in work and pain and sweat equity. A lot of us, we just want it so fast. We want everything fast. Case in point, if we trying to get some and she's not with it, it's not happening fast enough, I'm gonna go over here with her because it's now, it's right here for me. I ain't gotta work as hard. So our mentalities based from childhood and coming from a certain area has always been to, I gotta have it now. I can't wait. People get paid, right? We get our first paycheck. Oh man, I gotta get the sneakers. Not knowing if a child was to work, and I think from age 18 to probably 60 or a little after that, if you was to put $100 in a high yield savings account, $100 a week every time you get paid, your retirement will be well over $1 million. But when we get paid, all we see is things we was deprived of. So man, I want the Jordans. Man, I want the PlayStation. Man, I want the latest. I want what's trendy. And that comes from that television and them phones being stuck in our face all day. If wake up and they grab their phone in the morning, you instantly start to compare yourself to everyone else's life. You didn't even thank God yet for waking you up. So I think we just want everything now. And again, it may have been constructed that way, right? But the accountability had to be on us also, because you have to want to be like, man, I don't want to live like that, right? When I was living in a hostile environment at 18, I left. I just told my mother, I said, Mom, I love you, but I left because I already had what she had. I already had survival. I wanted to learn how to thrive and live like a king. I didn't want to keep living like a peasant. I'm coming outside, people sitting on your car, people let their dog poop next to your steps. I didn't want to live like that. And some people have been in a certain environment so long that it's normal to them. We are desensitized to greatness, right? We see trauma and we gravitate to it. Somebody gets shot, everybody pull out their phones. The little kids fighting, we put it on our internet for likes. People, it's what's really crushing to me is that people die, and the first thing we do at their funeral was pull out our phone, say, "Yeah, bro, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you, man. This is crazy." People, this person is dead. They're never coming back here. I don't think people understand that. We have been made a sloppy people. The way we think, the way we eat, the way we dress, the way we conduct business, we have to just be better. And that part right there, people overestimate what they can do in a year. It's 168 hours in a week, right? So even if I worked 100, I still got 68 left. Okay, if I slept 40, I still got 28 left. Time is not the man's problem. It's his focus. If you was asleep 40, you got 28 left. Check your call log, check your Instagram feeds, check social media, and check your subscriptions. That's where all your time is going. Time ain't the problem. People don't know what to do with their time because when they wake up, the first thing they do is compare themselves to everyone else around them that they look up to. And that is the problem. That's why in a year, you think you can start a new job. Man, in a year, I'm going to be the CEO. It doesn't work like that. I don't care who you know in the company. It doesn't work. 10 years, you underestimate that. A lot can happen in 12 months, though, but a lot more can happen in 10 years. Just put the work in. So, honestly, that's where that came from. I was in a space where I wanted everything fast. I didn't want to work long or hard for anything. Tired of it. I felt like it wasn't catching up to the hours I was putting in, but it was only because I was placing my money where it didn't belong. A lot of people have already made over $1 million in their life. I tell you something else to ask people. Next time you get one of the brothers, and this brother's comfortable with you, comfortable with him. Say, man, when you start working, King? He's like, man, I've been working since I was 13. Say, man, 13? I saved in the bank. Think about it. If you was working from 13 and you in your 50s and you don't have no money saved in the bank, you just wasted 40 years of employment by not being focused. What we was taught was to work hard, not what to do with what we earn. And that's why we are the biggest consumers in the world. We are the biggest. Nobody consumes more than us. We're the biggest consumers and we have nothing to show for it. But if you check our history, we have been working the longest out of everybody. Physical work, the longest. Nothing to show for it. Actually, personally, man, I've been working since I was 16 years old. Okay, so you 16, you 49. Hey, man, how much money I saved in the bank? I'm trying to buy something. I want to make you a partner. Oh, man, somebody get a loan. You've been working for almost 20 plus years. Where's the money? We literally are working till we die. And that's sadly to say, but that's a lot of our fate. Our fate. And there's no knock on the person who does that because some people have made their bed and said, I'm going to work till I die. That's just what I'm conditioned to do. But once you start tapping in that scripture, you start reading those books, you'll realize God did not intend for nobody to work. He did. Your heaven is right here on this earth. You can make this. Heaven and hell here is a state of mentality. Everybody living in poverty, complaining, believe it or not, they're comfortable with living in that because they're not doing anything about it. And they can. They might can't go out every night. They might can't go to Gucci, Fendi, and buy a $7,000 to $1,000 pair of shoes that they're only wearing when they go out on the weekends. That's where all the abundance lies at. You want to see how rich a person is? Look in their closet. The average person, all is in his closet. He has nothing he can give that can produce equity.
I'm a little guilty of that. I have a lot of pair of sneakers, but I have a savings account, and I've worked diligently at preparing that, and that is so true. What you said about people saving. I have so many people that don't have anything, don't even know. Like I am talking to my younger cousin, and he doesn't have a bank account. He's 23, and he has money. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you have a bank account? Oh, he has a theory that the government can freeze it, and all these things, these like myths of like he's gonna have his money in a shoebox. And I keep telling him, I said, you can't buy anything. I said, do you realize if you're driving around in a car, you get pulled over, and you have 10 grand on you, that what's gonna happen to that 10 grand? You're not gonna have it no more because you can't account for it. They're gonna take it. And trying to explain that to someone that's been brought up with a different mentality is very difficult.
That money's gonna lose value. Inflation's gonna kill that money. Inflation's gonna kill the money. Inflation is rising every other month. It's gonna kill the money. I think inflation money. So if you don't know where to put that money at, you're done. Because what happens is, being that we don't know where to put it, If tell
Yep.
people, tell your younger people, I'm gonna give you $500. I'm gonna come back in a month. It'll be gone. Because the first thing they're gonna see, green. It's all color schemes. Green equate to good. Green equate to go. So once we see the green, that means yo, I'm good. I got the money. It's time to go. Go where? Go to give the money to someone else.
Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now.
Yeah.
So the wrap up. This weekend I was at a men's health conference, and his brother came and he did a workshop, and the workshop was called "Speak Life into a Brother," and we all had to stand up and we had to pull out a name out of the hat, and then we had to go speak life into that brother, like tell that brother how amazing he
Yeah.
is. And so I want to close by you telling, like, visualizing someone in the audience that's like on the fence about being great, and I want
Yeah.
you to speak life into them. What would you say to speak life into that individual?
I would say first and again, because big on this, I would say I want you to build a relationship. A lot of what we don't have is on the other side of commitment. And that commitment is not a commitment to our girlfriends, it's not a commitment to our family, that's a commitment to God. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. You have not, because you ask not. And you don't know this because we're not in tune with our spirituality or our religious based, understandings. So I would say, man, you are great despite of anything you've been through, despite of anything you're going through. You are great. You know how hard it is for us to actually cry as men? Our chakras have been blocked from being sentimental. So a lot of things we go through, there's no safe space to display how we really feel. A lot of men don't even feel love in their household. They just feel like I'm a person who get the money and I'll bring the check home every day. My family love me every time I come. But I'm here to tell you that despite your shortcomings, even if you're unemployed right now, you're great because God not done with you. Now you want to say, Brother Shalil, how do you know that? You're still here. He still woke you up. Just every single day we're given two things, a chance and a choice. The chance is, yo, I got a chance to wake up today. Okay. So I get the privilege to step out of my bed. I get the privilege to use the bathroom. The choice is mine. From the moment my eyes open, every choice you make, but I gave you the chance. And that's every single day until the day you die, chance and choice. If you can use your chance and your choice to produce greatness, that greatness that's within you, man, God's the limit. But despite of where you are, what you've been through, and whoever said anything that just love you, God love you. God love you. Because if you didn't, trust me, you wouldn't be here anymore. And it's not a bad thing. Sometimes angels are called. Right now, you're still here. You have opportunity every single day to make an impact in someone's life. Start with you. Celebrate your small wins. Feel good about that. First thing in the morning, make your bed. You already won a morning. When you make it, literally already won your morning. Because what? There's something positive. These are things we're not taught because only thing we're taught to do is get up, shower, you better go to work. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against making money. But I am against making money when it becomes life. Because if it was to take all the money out of the bank, if we don't know what happened, who will we be? Who will we be? That's where character comes. Character. But right of any of us, we are powerful. The crazy part is, a lot of people who try to suppress our powers know how powerful we are. The bad part is, we just don't.
Mm. Powerful. Powerful. Well, that was Shalil. And make sure you get his book, Purposely Miseducated. You can find it on Amazon. I got 2 copies. I got one for myself, and then I forgot I bought it and went out and bought it again. Um,
Thank you.
and
Appreciate
I'm gonna give it, and I gave it to a friend to read. So hopefully he reads it. He's gonna be on the show coming up in August. But we're not victims of our environments unless we choose to be.
Yes,
You
sir.
heard it. Here's the truth, raw and unfiltered. This is Shades of Man. Thank you for your voice today, Shalil. Thank you. Your fight,
Appreciate
your wisdom. Peace to you, King.
peace to my
Thank
brothers,
you.
man. I'm gonna come down there and hang out with y'all, man.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
probably I ain't doing nothing the week of the 4th, man. I'll probably drive down there and hang out with y'all, man.
The 4th, and I am definitely available because I'm trying to be corny now. So I'm trying to be boring and trying to live in the happiness of myself.
Yeah.
So I will be around.
Yeah, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't Saturday, man. Probably come down there and drive down to Connecticut, man.
Oh, definitely. Then we're gonna have to go to the African American Society building. I'll check my boy out, Jameson, and we'll go down there, go do some farming.
Right. That's right, man. I need to learn. Be a good husband. Gotta be able to feed the queen good food, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, brothers, man.
Sometimes it might rain, sometimes it might snow, sometimes you might cry, be sad, you know. But that's shades of a man, baby. Shades of a man. Shades of a man. Sometimes you might stop, sometimes you might go. You might make mistakes, but that's just how you grow. Shades of a man, baby. Shades of a man. Shades of a man.